Imagine moving into your dream home, only to realize your next-door neighbor has been secretly stealing your water for years. I didn't think much of it at first, but when I found out what he was doing behind my back, I decided to teach him a lesson he'd never forget, without even stepping foot on his property. If you've ever had someone take advantage of your kindness or disrespect what's yours, hit that like button and buckle up, because this revenge story is as poetic as it gets. I live in Asia, in one of the busiest capital cities. After years of saving, I finally bought a house. It wasn't perfect, more like a half-finished project that someone gave up on. But it was mine. The previous owners were family friends who'd left the country 3 years ago. They needed cash urgently, so I got it for a great price. But the moment I moved in, I realized the house had its own reputation. It looked abandoned, half-renovated, no gate, the front door secure with nothing but a rusting padlock. The first day I arrived, someone's motorbike was parked right inside my garage. I moved it out to the road, had a new gate installed that same afternoon, and thought that would be the end of it. But later that evening, there was an angry knock at my new gate. When I peeked out the window, I saw a man, middle-aged, scowling, pacing like he owned the place. He knocked for 15 minutes straight before finally giving up and dragging his bike away. That was my welcome to the neighborhood moment. After that, things were mostly fine. People sometimes blocked my gate, but a simple no parking sign solved that problem. Still, there was one neighbor I couldn't quite shake off, the man next door, an old guy, probably in his late 60s. He lived on the first floor of a 3-story building, renting the upper floors to tenants. My friends, the previous owners, had warned me about him. He wasn't happy we sold the house, they said. He thought the property should have stayed in the neighborhood. He had a reputation for being controlling, territorial, the type of man who thinks everything around him somehow belongs to him. I didn't pay much attention. I'm a 6-foot guy with 3 dogs. I figured I could handle myself. But then something strange started happening. One evening, I was in the shower when the water pressure suddenly dropped. At first, I thought it was a plumbing issue, until I heard his water pump turn on next door. In houses like ours, we use electric pumps to fill rooftop tanks because the city's water pressure isn't strong enough to reach upper floors. But what didn't make sense was, why would his pump affect my water? When his pump turned off, I tried my taps again, and suddenly, the pressure was back to normal. Coincidence? Maybe, but deep down, something felt wrong. Over the next few days, I ran a few quiet experiments. Each time his pump started, my water pressure dropped. When it stopped, my pressure came back. There was no denying it anymore. That old man was siphoning water from my supply. For the realization, 3 years of theft, it all started to make sense. My friends had mentioned that even when no one lived here, the water bills kept rising. They thought it was because of a leak. But leaks don't last 3 years and rack up high bills. No, this man had been sneaking into property when it was empty and hooking his lines into mine, probably thinking no one would ever notice. The sheer audacity of it boiled my blood. And yet, what infuriated me most wasn't the money. Water here is cheap, about $5 a month, even with heavy use. It was the entitlement, the smug idea that he could take what wasn't his and get away with it. He'd been living off my line for years and probably bragging about it to his tenants. I sat with it for a few days, debating what to do. Should I confront him? Go to the authorities? But honestly, I didn't want drama. I just wanted justice. Then one night, as I listened to his pump whirring through the walls, an idea hit me. So simple, so clean, and perfectly legal. I didn't have to shout. I didn't have to trespass. I just had to turn off my water at the main valve. For nights later, I waited. At around 9 p.m., his pump clicked on, the low hum vibrating through the concrete wall. I stepped outside, walked to my main line, and slowly twisted the valve shut. The moment I did, a strange satisfaction washed over me. See, when a pump can't draw water, it doesn't stop. It keeps running, desperate, trying pulling pressure that isn't there. And if it runs too long like that, it burns out. I figured maybe I'd ruin his motor. Maybe he'd have to shell out a bit of cash. But what actually happened was so much worse for him. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to Ray's voices. His tenants were shouting, confused, frustrated. Through the window, I could see lights flickering inside his building, then nothing. Total darkness. Apparently, his pump had run dry for hours, drawing so much current that it fried the old wiring in his house. His tenants had no water and now no power. In my country, that's a serious problem. Power and water are considered essential services. Landlords are legally required to keep them running. The next day, both of his tenants filed complaints with the police. And trust me, our laws take tenant rights very seriously. He was fined the equivalent of $500, a huge amount here, and forced to refund both tenant security deposits. Both moved out immediately, leaving his upper floors completely empty. Within a week, the man lost his income, his tenants, and his reputation. A few days later, he came to my gate. His face was expressionless, too calm. "Did you turn off your water the other day?" he asked. I smiled politely. "Oh, yeah, my tank had a small leak, so I shut it off till the plumber came by." He paused for a moment. I could see the realization in his eyes. He knew. He gave a tight little nod. "Oh, okay." Then he turned and walked away. No yelling, no accusations, just quiet, simmering defeat. Word spread fast. The once proud old man, the one who thought he ran the block, was now moving out to live with his daughter because he couldn't afford to stay. I wasn't proud of ruining him, but I also didn't feel sorry. He'd been stealing from me and from the previous owners for years. All I did was flip a switch and let karma do the rest. Sometimes revenge doesn't need shouting or confrontation. Sometimes the best payback is calm, calculated, and quiet. Because nothing hits harder than a person realizing they destroyed themselves, all because of their own greed. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me in the comments what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen. And if you want more stories where karma strikes harder than a hammer, make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss the next one.